Hello, hello, hello. How's it going, everybody? Hopefully, well. Hope everybody is having a very happy Memorial Day, at least here in the United States of America. And, it's not a perfect country, but it's the best one we got, I think. So, no offense to anyone else that might come on being in another country. So today, me, Free Brandon, being a psychotherapist, I'm going to have on another fellow psychotherapist. He is a psychomotor therapist, actually, and that usually is something pertaining to our movement, okay, physical movement. Mr. Daniel, a joyful Danish, we're going to bring him on here and have a talk about what he's doing, and he's really focused on men's issues, so we'll be talking about that a lot as well. Okay, so we are ready. Let's bring him on here. Mr. Daniel, Mr. Joyful
Hello.
Danish. You're not a sad Danish. You're not an angry Danish. You,
Right.
sir, are
Well,
a
sometimes.
joyful Danish.
Yes, that's my preferred state. Yeah.
That's your preferred state. Yes.
But I mean,
You're not.
sure. I mean, everyone can be angry sometimes. I mean, all
That's
these
true.
different emotions are perfectly natural. But I mean, sure. I think everyone has their preferred state to be in.
That's right.
So, I mean, of
Yeah.
course, it needs to be balanced, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Denmark, for example, we have this guy Ole Henriksen makes skincare and stuff. Really pretty huge in US
Oh,
as
okay.
well. Anyway,
No,
he
no, no.
became quite famous because he actually was very happy. Like he's also gay. They tend to be very more um
Well, in
what can you
English,
say?
another
You know,
definition for gay
uh
is happy. So there you go.
oh, you dropped out a little bit there. Do you mind repeat?
Oh yeah, I just said in English the word gay can also mean happy.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes,
I didn't know that.
that's what it used to mean. People like
No?
there's the famous one is there's the cartoon show. I think it was the Flintstones, and in the intro song, he
Oh,
said we'll have a gay old time, right?
okay. Hold on.
A
Okay.
happy time, man. Not like homosexual time. We'll have a gay old
Right.
time. Happy.
I see.
I don't think that would have been
And
in
it
cartoons.
probably not. But my
No.
point was just that he kind of became quite famous in Denmark, not just because of his
Mm,
achievement business wise, but he
yes.
also got this whole personality of trying to embrace happiness and positives, being positive and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But it could also seem maybe a little bit too extreme, like a little bit
Yeah.
acted, like, is this natural? But I remember I thought to myself, like,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's not, but let's say it is, I
Mm-hmm.
know certain people, and maybe you do too, they tend to be sad or angry or pessimistic most of their times.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is that an act? No, I think they're generally angry or sad most of the time when you encounter them, if that's the emotion
Yeah.
they appear to show.
Yeah.
So why couldn't you maybe also show the other one as
Mm-hmm.
another person, another life, maybe could have found a way that this person is generally more happy than sad or angry most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's true. Well, sometimes it's not in our control too, right? Sometimes
right.
there's external circumstances or you have your whole life experience, childhood experience, traumas, different things that definitely shape how you think and feel and how you
Yeah,
interact with the world. So there's also that too.
they really are.
Yeah, yeah, very interesting stuff. Um, so you mostly are joyful though. That's what I'll take from that, which is good. I think that's a
And
good goal too, is sometimes people want to be happy, like I'm not happy, I'm not happy. Like every day you're supposed to be happy or something. And I just don't
mm,
think that's a realistic in a way, like you can't there's
mm,
not happiness every day. Life is full of, ups and
mm,
downs, and a bit unrealistic to me to look at it that way, kind of like a child happiness. More like
right,
joy to me is more a deeper contentment, inner peace, and
right.
um feeling like
Mm.
you're doing something meaningful and purposeful with yourself, your life. So, but anyhow, you, Mr. Daniel, you are specializing, I think, if I'm right, in men's issues, and maybe specifically men's issues and men that are in crypto issues. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to like target the web free space in general because I could see that that's a totally overlooked area. Nobody focuses on it.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, often that will be crypto people, crypto founders, developers, but
Yeah.
more in general terms, investors and traders as well. Sure. Because it can be quite stressful and quite volatile, also
Absolutely.
emotionally.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things at play, and that's also why I got curious to start map out what is actually at
Mhm.
play here, both in a bear market and in a bull market, when it comes
Mm.
to physical stress signs, psychological stress signs, and behavioral stress signs. So that's what I've slowly
Okay.
gathered the last 2 years from my different clients. So that's
That's
have been an
fascinating.
interesting, yeah,
Yeah.
gathering. Still
Yeah.
continuing.
Well, what made you interested in focusing on that?
Well, I mean, I've been in crypto myself. That's always an interesting thing. Like, how do people get into crypto? What's their journey? And that's usually
Mhm.
not. It's a bumpy ride for most people, and
Yeah.
understandable so, because if you don't really have anybody to actually guide you, like I was lucky and fortunate enough to have a really good friend that gifted me some tokens
Mhm.
back in the day and said like basically, okay, take it in your own pace, but start learning this. And every time you need some help, you can write to me and call me or whatever. And if in the beginning you have a hard time to buy this, just send me the money and then I can buy them for you and send you to your wallet. But again, in your own pace, start to
Mm.
slowly learn how you can do this eventually on
Mhm.
your own.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that was really encouraging and a great help. But man, there's so many things that can stress, and there's more traps than rewards in the
There
crypto
definitely
space.
is. It's a
And if
unique
it's like,
space for sure.
it really is, it really is. Its own language, its own land fields and jungle and treasures and allies and enemies. But for the most part, I
Yeah.
kind of get how most people tend to have the mindset you're on your own. You can never trust
Mhm.
anyone. To some extent, that's probably
Yeah,
the most safe
that's true.
strategy.
I don't trust
But
you.
it is also a little bit sad too, because we still need to talk. We're social beings.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
go
yeah.
through stuff, like you said. Like we can't be
Yeah.
happy all the time. And now we're up in our crypto. Now we're down in crypto. No,
Right,
I'm still happy,
right,
but not really.
right.
That's not sustainable. That's
Yeah.
psychotic, eventually. And then you don't
Yeah,
know who you
that's
are
that's
anymore.
that's true. Well, I think, yeah, there's definitely a connection with a lot of people, their identity, and then the price of the crypto they own. If if like you say, there, if the price is up, my identity, oh, I'm a happy person, everything's great and wonderful, and butterflies and rainbows, it's beautiful. And then the price is down, oh, I say it's sad, it's hopeless, I'm not going to shower today, fuck the
Yeah.
world, whatever, right?
Again today.
And that's the biggest thing I see too.
Yeah.
So yeah, especially with men, because
Mm.
I feel like with men that inherent with men, especially if it's a man with a family or a girlfriend, or if they have kids, or if they're taking care of anybody, that
Mm.
for men there's a certain sense of you know protection and wanting to take care and provide for them.
Right.
And if you can't, like a lot of men that they identify with that so strongly, that's such a strong value that if they can't do that, there's a certain sense of desperation that
Mm.
they feel. And so they're looking for, well, how can I do more to provide? How can I create more wealth? So they get into risky
Mm.
things often.
Yeah.
Sometimes not an investor, more like you said, like a trader, right? And
Yeah.
but the problem is when you join in desperation and then things don't happen, at least right away, right? If you're in long term, then maybe it's okay, but right away, then you can start feeling pretty hopeless. And I see that men do things that are pretty rash. They often commit suicide more, right? You see,
Yeah.
oh, what was that guy? Like his wife left him and he kind of went crazy. And he was in crypto. People know what I'm talking about.
Mm.
What's the Ben something? But anyways, that's
Mm.
I feel like men are more apt to do something extreme when
Mm.
the volatility is on the downside. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. What do you think about that? You see that?
Yeah. I mean, general men are more risk takers than women, female investors. And again, I think that ties back to what you talked about before, that the men are usually the provider role, the protector, and there's also some kind of pride and a lot of identity attached to that. So when that suddenly gets threatened, it's starting to get very shaky, because if you're not able to provide, you're not able to protect, you're not even able to maybe sustain yourself, you're living, starting to be
Right.
quite shaky,
That's right.
everything. And that's a scary place to be in. And if
Mhm.
even that gets suppressed as well, that's a lot of stuff you have to keep down and still try to hold yourself together, even though you're barely holding up
Yeah.
yourself. So it's tough.
Yeah. The sense of shame in men is very high in these kind of things. And there was a story, I think it was a couple years ago. Well, not crypto, but the stock market. And then this kid was, he was young, like college age, I think early 20s, and he was trading, I think, on Robinhood or something. It's like a little app you can trade stocks on here. I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys have it there in Portugal, but um, there was like a glitch or something, and he had put all of his money, which I don't remember exactly how much it was, but he put all his money in the stock, and then there was a glitch in the app, and it told him that he had basically lost everything, um, and he got really depressed, and he ended up killing himself because he thought he lost it on the shame that he was going to have to,
Yeah.
I think, like face his family, his parents, and that it was a substantial amount of money that he lost. But it turned out it was just a glitch in the app, and then later on, they fixed it. He hadn't really lost his money. I think he actually made some money, but
Yeah.
he in he did, in his despair, he just acted impulsively because he thought that was it.
Mm.
And I feel like that's like for men, that's what happens. The shame can be so great that they don't think about the larger picture, right? Just the
Yeah.
emotion in the moment. um,
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe we should already encourage people, because I already see the first comment actually coming in now, from Daniel Lawson. And I mean, if there are any questions, we will be happy to take some of the topics up. And
mhm.
maybe also tie back to like what is your focus area when it comes to men, your
Mhm.
specialty. Maybe it's also a good idea to share.
Just a sec here. Oh, for me.
Sure. Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
all right, hold on. Let's say something here because I can't see the comments. So let me see here. Hello. Oh, he just said hello. Well, hello, Daniel Larson. Hello.
Yeah.
Very nice. Nice that.
Yeah.
Hey, look at Daniel's very popular. It's a popular name here.
Yeah. Somehow.
So, um, Daniel, were you interested in doing men's issues before you even got involved in crypto, or what was your major focus, if not?
I think that was more general. Uh, any people before. Um, but the more I started to go into the crypto space, and it was actually first when I then moved to Portugal, then I started to like when I went to different crypto meetups and so on, started to
Mm-hmm.
see that okay, maybe there's something here. And since I've been in the crypto space since 2018, I was like, okay, so I kind of have experience in both areas because I'm also been a therapist since
Mm-hmm.
2012.
Yeah.
And then I started to simply again try to map out what is actually at play here, what's going on. Because people would say one thing when you go to a meetup, you stand in a group of people, you talk about one thing, but then when I usually got them one to one, it will be a
Mm-hmm.
different story. And then I could start to see, like, okay, so there's definitely some taboo here. And again, it's not really that surprising. Maybe you experience this as well that
Mm-hmm.
we as men, yeah, we maybe don't have had the best role models to actually share what's going on inside of ourselves. We keep it
Mm-hmm.
down, we keep it in, and we don't want to be ridiculed or belittled or yeah, lose ourselves, also in women's eyes, because some women are okay, then you're suddenly not a man in their eyes,
Mm.
because now you are vulnerable or
Mhm.
emotional because this is actually affecting you,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I could just see that, okay, well, since if I can see it, I should maybe do something about it. And since I couldn't see anyone else providing this service, I was like, well, I actually seems to have the best potential foundation to actually do something in this space. And that's why I then eventually started to build on my material, which
Yeah.
eventually led to like over 500 pages, of all kind of
Wow.
things you can
Yeah.
imagine that could impact you in the crypto space, health wise, in the
Mm-hmm.
bear market, in the bull market, investment decisions that calms the stress, how you train your nervous system,
Mm-hmm.
um, your mind state awareness, your emotional state awareness,
Mm-hmm.
or like crypto or AI scams or checklists for crypto projects. You often hear this
Yeah.
as well, right? Do your own research, This is not financial
Mm-hmm.
advice, but do your own research. Right. But how do you even do that? If you don't even know what
Right.
to look for, that's oh, you got cut out a little bit. Now you're
Oh,
back.
not my. Okay.
Okay. If you don't even know what to look for, even though people say this all the time, do your own research. Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, are you back?
Yeah.
You good?
I'm here. No,
Let's
am I
see.
frozen?
Is it better now?
Here.
I
I'm on
think
here.
uh,
I'm not coming up frozen.
I
So
think you're back.
I can hear
Okay,
you.
I think you're
Yes.
back now.
Oh, I'm back. Okay.
Okay, okay, perfect.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So I was just saying, like, the same thing when people always say, like, "Oh, do." Oh, yeah, go on.
Oh, it might
Still
be a
get a little
lag.
bit. cut out a
And
little bit
it
sometimes.
might be a lag in the audio.
Am I back now?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, maybe. I mean, your audio is okay now.
yeah. Keep going with your thought
Is
though.
your are we good? Are we back? Okay, very good. So anyway, have you heard this as well? When people say like, "Do your own research."
Hmm. Yeah,
We got cut out again, I
usually
guess.
when I see that on someone says do your
Let's
own research,
see.
and I'm thinking, you know, that's what this. I'm watching you. This is my research. You're supposed to tell me, give me information, and then a lot of times they say, "Well, go do your own research." So that's kind of funny. Um, you still good or no? Can you hear me? Looks like we're
Yeah,
having
yeah,
some.
yeah. Now you're back again.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a little bit of out and in, but now it seems like it's back
Okay.
simultaneously. We're both back now. But yeah, anyway, my point was just that, what another thing when people say like do your own research, right? But what do you even look for? You just kind of, it's the blind leading the blind, but on your own, kind of. So that's kind of also what I made. A lot of the material is a lot of sort of like checklist and ideas, like, for example, these signs are usually a good sign, and these signs are usually negative signs.
Mhm.
So just again to give people some ideas like what to look for. For example, also in crypto strategy types, like the last example, um, high risk, high reward, and then I kind of rank them from a health perspective, like in a metric score from 0 to 10, just to
Okay.
give people an idea how much. Am I cutting out?
No, you're not. You're good.
Are we back? Okay, okay. So just to give you an idea, I give like different pros and cons for these different strategy types you can choose. Again, the more you know, the better. But also when it comes to a health impact. So for example, high risk, high reward, I actually measure it in a time commitment, attention needed, stress triggers, difficulty level, emotional risk, and sleep disturbance risk for each of these different um, crypto strategies.
Mhm.
Because again, how should you know? Most of the people I meet, it seems like it's like trial and error. You just have
Yeah.
to try it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're measuring a lot of different things, and then you kind of help people to get back into a more balanced level, right? So so you said sleep disturbance. What else?
Yes. So overall, it's about for them to actually learn the stress signals, and
Mhm.
be able to what can you
Stressing.
say, um, take action on these different stress signals, so they don't
Mhm.
get overloaded with their
Mhm.
stress system. So time commitments, attention needed, stress
Mhm.
trigger, difficulty level. How hard is it to actually use this crypto strategy? Emotional risk. How much of a emotional roller coaster will this probably inflict you if you choose this strategy?
Mhm.
And then sleep disturbance risk. These are
Mhm.
the different metrics that I've added, for example, to all these different typical strategies. For example, if we take dollar cost average, DCA,
Mhm.
that's one of the lowest scores across the board, um, because it is much more easier and
It's
less.
a more balanced risk. Yeah.
It's a more balanced risk. Yeah, also.
Mhm.
Um, but these are the things that you have to consider. So I just simply, because it's a balance, right? I'm not a financial advisor, and it's simply to educate people to take better care of themselves, and risk
Mhm.
management better. Like I can see also Daniel is asking a question. What would you say is the most important thing to do in order to
Mhm.
maintain a healthy balance during difficult times? So, these are some of the questions everyone should ask themselves. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
you were saying?
I think that's good. A lot of times I don't think men consider emotional risks and psychological risks. It's
Yeah,
not it's not something that's tangible that you can see, right? Like
exactly.
you can take a risk, like, let's say you're cliff diving or something, like, well, there's a physical risk to that, and you'll be able to see if you get hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
um
it's very tangible.
Very tangible. And but a lot of times, because we can't see when there's emotional pain or
Mm.
severe emotional damage, from trauma, or whatever has happened in life, that it's so I think, well, people in general, but men especially, because I don't think, um I think you said earlier, men are not really in society. It's not really, something that's looked, upon well, to be in touch with your emotions, and to, like, have a balanced view. If you're a man, you're kind of, in a way, I think, expected to suffer in silence,
Yeah.
and, like, get over it, like you said, man up, get over it, whatever. And that's just how it is. Because people don't want to know. They just want you to figure it out and do something, like, work it through yourself. So when you're not encouraged to look within yourself and your emotions, then you're going to have, a real hard time with understanding emotional risks, for example, like you're saying, because you don't even think that's important. You don't think psychological and emotional risks are important, because you're told in society that, well, you just need to get over it anyways.
Right.
So I think what you're saying is really important. And that makes me wonder, like, how do you communicate, and help men to understand that their own emotional internal world is as important, um as, let's say, your physical health, your financial health, other areas of health that are more visibly seen or tangible.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, my approach as a psychomotor therapist is the dynamic between the psyche and the motor, so the body and the mind, um, and that's where I can use physical exercises to actually make it more tangible. That we maybe talk about how something invisible in here can actually affect slowly your physical form,
Mhm.
here, your body, in a form of restlessness, bad sleep, tension in your shoulders, actually maybe pain because no
Yeah.
circulation, right? And that just creates more pain, and you get more tense,
Yeah.
and you maybe don't know why. And of course, it can be practical stuff because you sit wrong or you have wrong, unsupportive work movements at your
Mhm.
job. But it
Mhm.
can also be you worry a lot, you have a lot of things on your plate, to consider, and you worry about, and ah, is it going to work out or not? And you don't share any of this, it builds up. So
Yeah.
through different physical exercises, mental exercises, but
Mhm.
this shift between, that we can talk about it, but we also experience it. So what I usually say, we need knowledge for our heads and experience for our body, and
Mhm.
those two gives
Yeah.
the invitation to slowly integrate it, and that in my world is wisdom.
Yeah.
Knowledge applied is wisdom,
Mhm. So, and
and
by
yeah,
that, you mean, like, bringing awareness to the conscious mind of the physical sensations and things, like you said, there's tension maybe in your shoulder or your neck,
right,
or a sharp pain in your, in your chest, or something
right.
like that. That's kind of what you mean.
Yeah. So, in
Mhm.
other terms, it's called body awareness training.
Mhm.
So, yeah, the more you can train your phone, your nervous system, the better you can hear what's going on in your body and you can take action before the stress signals reach an alarming level,
Yeah.
and thereby prevents depression and burnout and so on.
Yeah.
So it's a
Absolutely.
more preventative
Yeah.
approach.
And I think that men don't and again, men are not encouraged to always look at their emotional self, but
Right.
even if you take that a little further, then they're not encouraged even to see the connection between emotional self and physical symptoms, right? Because a lot of times I work with men and women who have PTSD, some type of trauma, and I'm trained in EMDR, so I do that often. And
Right.
a lot of the getting into that is, where are you feeling things in your body? Like, what are the emotions? Now connect that to your body, and what's the symptom that's correlated with it? And a lot of people that just doing that alone blows people's minds because they don't think like, oh wait, you mean that's connected? Like, oh, this emotion, like that's connected to a memory. That's also, oh wait, my stomach is starting to churn whenever that happens, and then it's like, there's the light. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
wow, I never thought. And for men especially, it's like this. I think there's the problem I see for men. This sounds like a bunch of woo woo BS. You know,
Right.
like we're in some kind of new agey weird stuff. How maybe you can answer this. How do you communicate then in a way that makes this, because I know what you're saying about how to do it, right? But how do you communicate that it's so important, to convince them that they should, that it's worthy of their energy and pursuit, to find their internal emotional world and the connection to their body and the physical symptoms manifested?
Uh, you got cut out a bit. Can you please repeat the last bit you asked?
Oh, what did you hear last? Sorry. So, did you hear? Okay, so how to convince men that
I think we're back. Yeah.
their emotional world is important and worthy of their
Yeah.
energy and pursuit, and also to have find the connection between that and the physical symptoms that are manifested. How do you convey to men that's important, a worthy endeavor for them to pursue?
Okay. You got a little bit. That was a little slightly delayed, but I think I got it. So how to convey? Yeah. Sorry, we keep having this. I mean, it's okay.
That's okay.
We're learning. We're trying.
That's all right. That's all right.
um. Yeah. Okay. So how do I uh, make the important message come across that this is actually important to also address and
Right, right.
the
Because you
emotional side?
we can like talk
Yeah.
all we want about coping skills and how to these
Right.
exercises and what to do, but for the men that are not even, it's not even on their radar that, hey, this is
Right.
something important. How do you break through that? Do you see, or maybe where are you at with it?
Um, I usually try to talk to them and find out, as ask questions to find out what actually matters to them. What do they actually care about?
Hmm,
And then use that
like
as a
that.
motivation, as an angle to actually stress the importance of, like, okay,
Yeah.
so this is important to you. All right, but why is it important? Okay, and that will automatically set off some emotions and some thoughts about, yeah, okay, I mean, I guess it is kind of important, maybe more than I realized. Okay, um, and if I want to be better than that, or I want to improve this situation or this state, or I
Mhm,
want to have more memories of this kind,
mhm.
and this could be a tool to maybe achieve that. Okay. So yeah, in short, I'll try to find what is actually the motivation and the motives,
Yeah.
that could be the main drive if this is going to be an initiative that they want to begin with exploring. But
I
what
like
would be your approach? I'm
I
curious about that too. Yeah.
yeah, I think for me, it would be similar, but also focusing on what's not working,
Yeah.
right? What is it that, maybe a goal for your life, something you want, and you're not able to get it, and
Mm.
so what's the obstacle to that, right?
Right.
Um, and so then usually, we meander, but we get to a place where you can say, well, I have these emotions I get in the way, or I have this behavior. And once you can kind of latch on to something like that, behavior can lead to emotion and then physical symptom. And it's all interchangeable because emotion can lead, you can connect that to behavior and physical symptom. And you find physical symptom, you can connect that to emotions and behavior and thoughts and all that too. So that's kind of how I approach it. Um, but I'm, thinking, like, obviously that's people are coming to see me, so they have naturally a problem. Here's the issue, doc. Help me out here. But
Right.
on a forum like this, and maybe people are, how do we spread the word that, hey, as a man, you're valuable, and your internal emotional world is valuable, and maybe there's some destructive thoughts, behaviors, or physical symptoms connected to it as well that are also important to be aware of. And so, yeah, I think, well, obviously, just us talking about it is a good thing. Just that, putting it out there in the
Right.
universe right now. Um,
Yeah, and
but
maybe add to
but
that. Just a quick one. That's also partly why we do this. That we want to actually open up about that and make it possible for people to actually, in the crypto and Pulse community in particular,
mhm,
yeah, open up, share whatever. And we already have the first question, so that's great.
yeah.
That it does matter. But yeah,
It does.
please go
It
on.
does. It does. Yeah, it does matter. Yeah, and to answer Daniel's question, maintaining a healthy balance. I think in general, make sure you go outside and get fresh air. Make sure you're eating healthy food and you're getting enough sleep, and you're having good hygiene, and you have a life full. I think having the most important things, I think, are having some kind of occupation, or something that you're doing, some work that helps people. It's meaningful, it's helpful. You're bettering society, or maybe just the people around you, or you're creating something that people like. That's why I like Pulse Chain, because Richard Hart has gone and done that himself. Um, So focusing on on that stuff, I think, is the most important for mental health. Yeah. Now, to get, because I kind of, when you said this before, I had a visual image in my mind, Daniel. You
Mm-hmm.
said that there's a different, I think, a different mindset and emotional um, perspective for traders and for investors, right? And then you kind of said too, there's a difference between how to make it through the bear market and the bull market, right? So
Sure.
I had in my mind, I created a graph in my mind. Bear market, bear market, bull market, right? And then we have trader and investor. So I have like four quadrants that came up for me when you said that.
Mm-hmm.
So if we split it up like that, let's start with the let's start with the bull market because supposedly
Sure.
that's kind of where we're at now. How do you, as a trader, for to start, and then an investor, what are the best exercises or mindset coping skills for a bull market for investors and for traders right now? I know we talked about emotional risk a little bit, so if there's any, maybe there's some other things.
Right. I mean, I've mapped it out like this, that there's like general stress signs that anyone can experience, so thereby
Oh, you're cutting out a little, Daniel. At least for me. I don't know if it's me or
there's okay.
let's see here.
Okay, I think now we're back, I think.
Okay, there you go. You cut out
Yeah,
for
we
a
have a little
second.
bit of a hiccups. Yeah,
I
you
know.
too. Yeah, but yeah, we're back.
We're back. Okay, go
Should
ahead.
have some commercials. But yeah, okay. I just wanted to just clarify that the material that I have is like set up in three
Hmm.
different topics. There's like general stress signs that everyone should be.
Hmm.
And we're back. Okay,
You
all
say you
good.
froze up a little bit. Yeah, I can hear you.
I think we should be back now. Okay, very good. I was just saying that so I have mainly like these three different areas that there's like general stress signs that everyone should be aware of. Um, it's from a Danish doctor that yeah, the connection didn't allow you to finish the sentence. Yeah, I'll start from scratch. So the question is like, okay, how to cope in a bull market, either if you are an investor or a trader. That was basically like the main question, correct, Brandon?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I was just saying, just to set the theme here, the structure of what I have built so far, is that I actually put in like in general stress signs that can intervene in anyone's lives, no matter if you're in crypto or not. And then there's the bear market stress signs and there's the bull market stress signs that I've gathered from the different clients I've got so far. And all these three categories is in a physical level category, a psychological, and a behavioral category.
Hmm.
And if we come to the bull market stress signs, I mean, there is a lot actually, surprisingly. But if we just take some, and then we can take some examples with coping for either investors or traders perspective. Um, but if we take,
Yeah.
for example, that could be, let's see, the overloading as an overwhelming aspect. Um, Meaning, for example, a sense of being buried of information, choices, responsibility, even during a positive bull market phase. And that can be different plays, different things at play. So, for example, possible contributing factors, like fatigue, poor sleep, screen fatigue, overstimulation, and so on, or
Hmm.
pressure to act fast. If let's say we go with the trader first, they're usually on a high pressure, multitasking, the FOMO. Even though multitasking is
Yes.
not really a thing, but you can change your focus really fast, and that will eventually
Mhm.
increase the fatigue,
We'll
also
call that
called decision fatigue.
we'll call that ADHD.
Yeah. Or if you don't have it, you'll get it if you stay in
Exactly.
crypto long enough.
I
Yeah.
think yeah,
Too,
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
yeah. And for the trader, if like, okay, socially, too many chats, too much social media influences, in crypto hype, always looking at charts and analysis, trading analysis, and you can end up being paralyzed, from the crowd noise overall. So some of
Over
the
yeah.
intervention strategies, I mean, there can be a lot, and again, we're just talking from a general perspective here. But like basically, like what you said, if we take it from a physical standpoint, the basics, the rest, block sensory overload, make sure that your bedroom is actually dark when you're
Mhm.
going to sleep. There's not too much
That's
light
good.
coming in, and it's pretty relaxing. And temperature wise, if you think about the senses, then you can kind of go through them one by one, how you can actually improve your body
Yeah,
easier and faster, can relax, calm
yeah,
down, and thereby fall asleep. One thing
absolutely.
is, for example, traders, if we take that example still, they'll tend to always have the phone with them very close, and maybe also sometimes wake in the middle of the night because, I need to have to check the chart because maybe it's a good time now to log in or sell or buy or whatever.
Mhm.
But that just creates this kind of hunting mode, which I also have as a stress sign separately. But that basically also with this tied into overload, it's simply still your nervous system overloading. And it's
Yeah,
you trying to process this is getting too much. And that's the
mhm.
same when you go into the hunting mode. If you are a trader, you tend to be more in the hunting and as a fight or flight mode. But
Yeah,
you're in the fight mode. You're
yeah.
hunting. You want to get this target. You want to get this deal. And if you're not,
Mhm.
you're starting to maybe tie it into another stress science that often traders go into, revenge
Yeah,
trading.
yeah.
They want
You
so
know, one
bad.
and one
Yeah,
one
go
thing that
on.
I wanna say just, 'cau and this goes for traders and investors because I like
Yeah,
what you're saying about it being in the bedroom and keeping it dark, and, I kind of think that the bedroom, at least at nighttime, um,
yeah,
should be it's best when it's a place that's stimulation deprived as much as possible, especially for me. The way I look at it is like screens, for example. I try to
yeah,
not bring any screens if I can while I'm in my bedroom, in my bed, especially because the bed I want to be a place where I know my body knows, okay, we're here, it's time for bed, relaxing, not checking crypto portfolio or making quick trade, or even try not to watch any shows or TV in bed. Try to deprive myself of the sensory as much as I can, while in the bedroom. I think that's very helpful. Okay, so anyways, I just wanted to say that. Go ahead.
yeah. It's a good point. Yeah, yeah, because that's the key thing. Again, working with the body and trying to understand this is it takes time for the body to slowly adjust, to wind down, or to
Mhm.
come up. So this shift between fight or flight response or calm and digest response, which I kind of keyed, so changed the word in my material to also be like um, calm, or as a calm and easy mode, or fight
Mhm.
and hard mode,
Yeah.
because that ties also into a mental perspective. I
Yeah.
usually use the metaphor like because many of them are gamers as well. Well, if as a imagine you set your life, or at least this particular part of your life, all the settings is on hard mode. I
Yeah.
mean, sure, you can do that, but how satisfying is it? And is it maintainable? Is it sustainable? Is it even
Right.
worth it?
Right.
Do you even need to put every settings on hard mode? What's the purpose? At least
Right. I
trying to
feel
be aware of. Yeah,
yeah.
go on.
I feel like life is going to bring you its own difficulties. You don't have to add more all the time. You
Exactly.
only increase your own suffering sometimes by doing that. I
Exactly.
agree with you. Yeah,
And it seems like traders tend to put a little bit more on their load than they actually need to. Um,
absolutely. I
so
feel
that's
like too,
another
as
thing.
for
Yeah.
traders that it kind of engenders a certain type of bipolar. Is just so extreme in the ups and downs, and you can have a manic episode that lasts for a long time when you're especially during the bull run. If you're getting hit with that dopamine and things are just going up only for a long time, then you're gonna have a hard time sleeping. But eventually that is going to crash, just like the bull market turns into bear market. There will be a crash, and then that's going to create some a set of problems for you when you eventually do, when you come down.
You cut out a little bit there in the end.
Oh, okay. I
Ah,
was
you're
just
back.
saying.
Good.
Okay, I was just saying that eventually you're gonna come down from the height
Yeah.
of the euphoria and dopamine.
Right.
The staying up all, trading all the time, not sleeping, and that's going to create its own set of problems.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, so to finish the trader example, it is still very much to learn them the stress signs, what's going on, become aware of what you're doing to yourself, what the
Hmm.
effect is, and then of course offering them what they can do instead. And that's in order
Hmm.
to make it very concrete. Yes, these different physical exercises, I will do them with them during the
Hmm.
session. So that also helps them to make it less scary, because therapy
Yeah.
and okay, so we're gonna talk about it for 1 hour. Okay, what's that going to do? Great.
Yeah.
But if you can have some practical stuff you actually can do, then it becomes more tangible, and we have focus on something third focus, instead of just one to
Yeah.
one this topic. Um,
So
but yeah,
start like crocheting and knitting and uh, stuff like that.
start
Actually, I
with what?
don't crocheting, knitting.
Yeah,
No, maybe for men it's more like building stuff. But I think
do something with their hands. Sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was just kind of making a joke with that, but no,
yeah, but it's kind of
I
true. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, because I think the idea is when you're a trader and things are bipolar and all over the place, and you can't manage your emotions that are everywhere. It's about
yeah,
doing something that's grounding you, centering you, and like you
yes,
say, doing something with your hands. That could be, building something. Go to IKEA, find something you want to buy that you have to put together. There you go. Um, yeah, something where, or you're doing something outside where your body is moving. I find that is also very grounding too. Um, so like for
yeah,
me, because I live in the West Coast in USA, California, so I'm closer to the beach. What grounds me is just to walk and see the ocean, be by the ocean, and moving. There's something about that is grounding for me, and it's very simple,
mm,
but that's what it does. And my mind eventually slows down because there's nothing else going on, right? It's just
mm,
me and moving, and there's water that's moving, and maybe there's a nice skyline or something.
Yeah.
I like what you're saying about, doing something to ground you like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of the key things that has been my aha moments with my education as with the psychomotricity. I remember one of the teachers we had that really been in the game for many years, and then sometimes they have certain quotes, certain lines that say like that really captivates. This is what it's about, basically. And she
Mm-hmm.
said eventually, thoughts are absence and physical sensations are present.
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm.
so the more you can kind of use that again, that's the other thing that men usually like
Mm.
when things also has a function,
So
it has a
thoughts are
purpose.
thoughts are absent.
So
Physical
thoughts are
sensations
absent.
are absent, like not there, and then physical sensations are present.
So she meant that our thoughts, because everything has its function and purpose, but maybe we're
Yeah.
not always aware of it. So we just have to be aware that when we do one thing, it has a certain consequence or action or result. So when we're thinking, we tend to be not present, not in the moment,
Mm.
because oh, was it tomorrow? I need to buy some milk, but was it which store had it on sale? Maybe you tried you're in a conversation with someone, and then you say something that triggered that person to think about a memory. So for 5 seconds, they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
They're not there, and
Mm-hmm.
then they come back to the conversation. Oh, I don't know what what you talked about for the last yeah
Yeah.
short time, but that's gone because you are not present. So your body, your sensations helps you to receive and record
So
what's
focusing on the
happening.
you mean
So
focusing on the body,
focusing
and then that
exactly. So
takes you
then
away from your thoughts, right? That
also
may
yes,
that may not be helpful.
also yes.
Mm-hmm.
So the more you can stay present, the best. Some of the best memories I have are where I have been most present. Didn't
Mm-hmm.
wish to be anywhere else, didn't FOMO, didn't overthink anything. I was just there and
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed what was going on right now, right there. And that helps you to store memories and actually easier visiting them at a later time as well. So being physical, feeling your physical sensations,
Mm-hmm.
that's why I keep clapping, is because that's one of the exercises. If you literally clap and activate your senses,
Yeah.
your cells,
Yeah.
that awakes and makes your nervous system more active. So your phone, you can easily hear what's going on. You activate the cables, the phone cables across your body by clapping or touching or
Yeah.
yeah. Um, so that
Or
is a way. Yeah, go on.
yeah. No, I was just gonna say, and then you can sometimes you just slap people in the face. That's what they need, to get them in the
It's
present,
another
right?
way to be physical. Sure.
No, I have, so when the pulse chain prices are down, see, I tangibly rub this my
Mm,
my pulse chain pendant here. That's what I
nice.
do, and it's very calming and centering. I just remember that it's gonna go up. It's gonna go up. We're decentralized. Everyone will adopt this. And I just rub. Yeah.
So yeah,
Um,
you can use
that's
certain mantras as well. Sure.
yeah, yeah,
But the key
mantra.
thing is sometimes to do
Mhm.
things separately, more
Yeah.
pure. Because the more you can be in the moment and in that activity you are, like for example, you
Mhm.
told the example with the beach before. If it
Yeah.
even supports you more to walk barefoot when you get to the beach, feel the sand,
Yeah,
hear the waves, feel
absolutely.
the sun touching your
Yeah.
skin and the warmth it creates, the better.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually that can go the other way too. I like what you're saying. If Because some people, maybe they have a physical pain or chronic pain or sensation
Right.
that's bothering them, but you can use your thoughts in the present to not focus on that, right? And so maybe and that could be through, some different imagery, guided imagery, or whatever. You can use your thoughts to create a different experience and a present for yourself, like a now present for yourself. Because sometimes the physical uncomfortableness or pain doesn't go away, but
Mm.
you can use your mind to create or focus on other things that are more helpful for you, more healing, you know? Um, yeah, that's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Um, well, I would do want to talk about the investors too, because that is a different mindset.
Yeah.
But I actually have to
Invest.
I have to get going because I have a meeting here coming up.
Okay.
But
How long
sorry,
time
go
do
ahead.
we have
Go ahead. What were you
left?
gonna say?
No, no, I was just going to say like how long time do we have left? Just to try to make it short and sharp.
2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes.
Okay, okay. So the key things when it's investors is actually talking about investment decisions overall that either calms or stress. Like are you
Hmm.
long term or are you short term investing? Is it low risk or low reward, or high risk or high reward mentality? Because that's going to play on with your low as a temptation level. Are you easier going to be tempted? Well, surely if you're going to take the high risk, high reward strategy. Are you automating some things, like for example, DCA, dollar cost average? Or are you doing everything manually? That will stress you more and take more focus and energy. And the thing, time in the market is usually better than trying to timing the market. Humble
I like
versus
that.
being
I like that distinction.
overconfident. Thank you. And again, know the stress triggers versus don't know the stress triggers. And they play instead of you being aware of what's going on. And lastly, getting information from credible sources, versus because you're in a rush, you just get the information, but you don't always check the sources. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah, the overall
hundred
behavior
percent.
of like how you're going to go into the crypto with what kind of mindset and behavior and what actions are you then going to take.
Mm-hmm. Very
But we can
good.
dive into that next time. Maybe that could be a
Yeah.
good cliffhanger.
Well, I was gonna
But
say that yeah, because we want to give that a little bit more time because those are
sure,
some. I had some immediate reactions that I wanted to share when you were talking too. But
sure,
yeah, we'll. This is something that I think would be good to do periodically,
sure.
and I find a lot of this very fascinating, and you have a lot of good exercises and coping skills too, the way you're framing it. So I think it's very helpful for people. Um, yeah, I really appreciate you coming on, and I hope it's edifying and helpful for people in some way. But thank you, Daniel, so much. And Daniel, we can follow you at Joyful Danish on X, correct?
Sure.
And was there anything else? I forget. Any
And free
other
Brandon
platform?
7 on X.
For me, yeah, for me it's Free Brandon 7 on X and YouTube. Uh and yeah, if you yeah, we're going to do this periodically. If you like what our little video here, leave us some comments or questions for the next time. And yeah, that is all. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a very happy Memorial Day for those who are in the States as we honor our fallen heroes. And yeah, this has been good and very interesting. So take care.
Likewise.
And love you all. Peace be with you all. Bye bye.